Welcome to the Aconic Audiobooks. Today, we will be listening to the audiobook title, 1 Hour Rule, Mastering Focus the Elon Musk Way. Introduction. In a world overrun with distractions, where attention spans are shrinking and productivity tools ironically lead to greater overwhelm, there is a profound power in doing something rare, focusing deeply on one task for one uninterrupted hour. That might sound simple, even trivial, but in today's fractured attention economy, it's become a form of modern heroism. The 1 hour rule is not just a productivity hack. It is a discipline, a philosophy, a way of approaching work and life that reclaims your most valuable resource, your attention, from the grip of endless emails, pop-up notifications, dopamine-fueled scrolling, and the myth of multitasking. It asks, what if you spent just 1 hour every day doing your most important work, without distraction? It's a small shift, but one with staggering implications. Elon Musk, a case study in focused intensity. Elon Musk stands as a living example of what is possible when intense focus meets high ambition. Musk doesn't dabble. He doesn't divide his attention aimlessly. Instead, he channels his energy with laser precision. His companies, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and the Boring Company, operate in fields that most people wouldn't dare touch, let alone try to revolutionize. And yet, he does it, simultaneously. How? Despite what you might assume, Musk doesn't possess more hours in a day than the rest of us. But he uses those hours differently. The difference lies not in time, but in how he applies focused energy. Musk is famous for his brutal efficiency, often breaking his day into 5-minute blocks. He obsessively optimizes his schedule, and when it's time to work on a problem, he goes deep. He doesn't skim. He immerses. The 1 hour rule, while inspired by Musk's overall approach to work, extracts a manageable and realistic piece of his methodology for the rest of us. The practice of focusing on a single high-priority task for one uninterrupted hour a day. This is not theory. It's a practice grounded in neuroscience, psychology, and some of the most elite performance principles in the world. The crisis of focus in the digital age. To appreciate the power of the 1 hour rule, we need to understand the world we're up against. Modern technology has placed an infinite buffet of stimuli at our fingertips. Our phones ping. Our apps buzz. Our browsers offer dozens of tabs. We're drowning in information, but starving for clarity. Studies have shown that the average knowledge worker is interrupted once every 11 minutes, and it can take nearly 25 minutes to fully regain focus after an interruption. Worse, the very act of context switching reduces our productivity by as much as 40%. When we jump from task to task, we train our brains to be shallow, reactive, and fragmented. This reality creates a paradox. We have more tools than ever before to get things done, yet we're more overwhelmed and less effective than ever. The answer to this paradox is not more technology, but more intentionality. The 1 hour rule is about reclaiming your mental space and retraining your mind to engage in deep, high-quality thought. Why 1 hour? You might wonder, why 1 hour? Why not 2 or 30 minutes? 1 hour is a psychologically optimal unit of time. It's long enough to get into a flow state, a condition of deep immersion where time disappears and creativity flourishes, but short enough to be manageable even on busy days. It's the Goldilocks zone of focus, not too little, not too much. When you commit to one focused hour each day, you're not just getting things done. You're developing a powerful skill, cognitive endurance. You're practicing the art of sitting with one problem, one project, or one idea long enough to understand it deeply, work through its complexities, and make meaningful progress. This kind of attention isn't just rare. It's becoming one of the most valuable assets in the world. Compounding returns of focus. Here's the secret that high performers know. Focus compounds. 1 hour of deep work each day doesn't merely add up. It multiplies. Why? Because deep work creates outputs that shallow work never can. It solves problems others can't. It generates insights others miss. It builds momentum others lack. Imagine writing one focused page a day. In a year, you'd have a book. Imagine spending 1 hour learning a difficult subject. In a year, you'd have mastery. Imagine solving your most pressing business challenge every day for an hour. In a year, your business could transform. That's the math of focus. 1 hour times 365 days equals 365 breakthroughs. Elon Musk's model. Depth over hustle. There's a cultural misconception that Musk succeeds because he simply works longer hours than everyone else. While it's true that he has been known to put in 80 to 100 hours a week, the type of work he does is more telling than the volume. Musk doesn't spend his days in meetings or lost in email. He spends them solving hard technical problems, reviewing designs, writing code, or strategizing. In short, he does deep work. And even in his tightly packed schedule, he creates space for it, often defending that space ruthlessly. He also leverages a principle called first principles thinking, breaking down problems to their most fundamental truths and reasoning from the ground up. This kind of thinking requires intense concentration and mental clarity. It's not something you can do while distracted or multitasking. It's the purest application of the 1 hour rule in action. The promise of this book. This book is not just about working harder. It's about working smarter by focusing deeper. Each chapter explores a core pillar of the 1 hour rule, grounded in Elon Musk's unique work habits and mindset. You'll learn how to eliminate distractions and reclaim control over your schedule. Build rituals that protect your best hours. Learn faster and think clearer. Solve complex problems using focused effort. Stay emotionally motivated through vision and purpose. We'll also examine the neuroscience of attention, the psychology of habits, and the tactics used by high achievers, from Olympic athletes to world-class entrepreneurs, to maintain mental discipline. But this isn't just about theory. You'll finish each chapter with practical techniques and tools you can implement immediately. This is a handbook for those who want to do work that matters. You don't have to be Elon Musk. Let's be clear. You don't have to be a billionaire genius building rockets in your spare time to apply these principles. The 1 hour rule isn't reserved for the elite. It's accessible to anyone, from students to creatives to corporate professionals to small business owners. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need a team of assistants or an AI-powered calendar. You just need to carve out 1 hour. 1 hour of sacred time each day for the thing that matters most. And what you'll find is that this small act, this single hour of clarity amidst the chaos, can change your life. A final challenge. As you begin this journey, take a moment to reflect on a few simple questions. What's the one thing you're not giving enough time to? What could you accomplish if you focused on it, truly focused, for 1 hour a day? What would your life look like 1 year from now if you made that commitment? This book will help you answer those questions and act on them. So welcome to the 1 hour rule. Welcome to the art and science of focused living. Now, let's begin. Chapter 2. I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. Elon Musk. Building extraordinary habits 1 hour at a time. In the realm of productivity and innovation, Elon Musk has become a lightning rod, admired by some, criticized by others, but impossible to ignore. The man behind Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and the Boring Company has been instrumental in reshaping multiple industries. But Musk's true genius isn't just in technology, it's in how he works. What often goes unnoticed in the glamour of rockets and electric cars is the engine of habitual excellence that drives it all. Musk's success is not built on bursts of inspiration or moments of brilliance, but on a system of consistent, deliberate habits executed with relentless precision. He once remarked, "I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary." This is not just motivational fluff, it's a philosophy grounded in practice. At its core is the idea that extraordinary is not innate. It is earned. And it is earned through simple, repeatable actions carried out over time. The 1 hour rule encapsulates this truth. It asks only one thing of you. Focus deliberately on your most important task for 1 hour every day. That's it. But behind that simplicity is a powerful force: the slow, steady accumulation of world-changing momentum. The myth of the big leap. In popular culture, success is often portrayed as a moment, a sudden invention, a viral launch, a flash of genius. But this mythology hides the truth. Real breakthroughs are built on unsexy routines, hours of effort, repeated failures, small adjustments, and dogged persistence. Elon Musk didn't just wake up with the knowledge to build rockets. He spent years reading aerospace engineering books, asking questions, studying failures, and working side by side with experts. When others might delegate the technical work, Musk dives into the trenches, learning deeply and participating in design reviews and code walkthroughs. His day, segmented into precise 5-minute blocks, reflects an obsession with consistency over flair. This isn't about hustling endlessly, it's about eliminating waste, increasing intentionality, and focusing deeply. The 1 hour rule aligns perfectly with this principle. You don't need a sudden leap. You need daily, deliberate effort. Small, focused steps compound into transformational outcomes. Just as Musk didn't build reusable rockets in a day, you won't achieve mastery overnight. But hour by hour, you will rise. The science of habit formation. Every extraordinary achievement is made possible by ordinary actions performed consistently. That's what habits are. Behaviors wired into your nervous system through repetition. Neuroscience tells us that every time you repeat a behavior, the connections between neurons involved in that behavior get stronger, a concept known as neuroplasticity. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, describes the formation of habits as a loop of cue, craving, response, and reward. Applying this to the 1 hour rule, we see a cue, a specific time or place signals it's time to start. A craving, a desire for progress, learning, or completion. A response, you sit down and focus with intention. A reward, satisfaction, clarity, or progress that reinforces the loop. The key is repetition. In the beginning, focus feels hard. But over time, the hour becomes your anchor. Your brain begins to crave it. You shift from, I have to do this, to I get to do this. Elon Musk doesn't rely on willpower. He designs systems. His tight scheduling, ruthless prioritization, and controlled work environment are all examples of habit architecture. If you adopt even a fraction of this structure, the 1 hour rule can evolve from effort to instinct. The compounding power of 1 hour. Let's pause to appreciate the math behind the habit. 1 hour per day doesn't sound like much, but it's 365 hours a year, over 9 full work weeks. That's enough time to write a novel, learn a new language, launch a side business, build a product prototype, study a complex field like coding or physics, train for a new career. What makes this truly powerful is compound growth. Each hour builds on the last. As your skill improves, your output improves. The ideas you had last month become the foundations for breakthroughs this month. And the momentum you build carries forward, making it easier to begin each day. Musk didn't go from zero to orbit in one step. He took thousands of micro steps, each reinforcing the next. You can too. The 1 hour rule creates a flywheel of progress that accelerates over time. Time blocking like Musk. Productivity isn't about cramming more into your day. It's about controlling what gets in. Musk is famous for his time blocking strategy. Each day is divided into slots as short as 5 minutes, each with a dedicated purpose. While that may be extreme for most, the principle remains powerful. Time blocking reduces decision fatigue, increases intentionality, and makes focus habitual. Here's how to apply it to your 1 hour rule. 1. Define your priority. Don't just block time, block it for your highest value task. 2. Choose your power hour. Early morning for clarity, late night for creativity. Find your peak window. 3. Protect the block. No meetings. No distractions. This is your time to create, think, and build. 4. Reflect weekly. Review how often you honored your time block. If you missed it, why? You're not just scheduling an hour. You're building a personal productivity fortress, one that shields your best work from the world's noise. First principles thinking and habit design. Musk's first principles thinking isn't just for engineering. It applies beautifully to habit design. Most people copy the routines of others. But first principles thinking asks you to understand why a habit works and design it for your unique brain and life. Ask, why this habit? What's its core purpose? What's essential? Can I simplify this? What blocks me? How can I reduce friction? Instead of copying someone else's 5 a.m. cold plunge routine, build habits that match your energy rhythms, values, and environment. Musk's focus is custom designed around his strengths and mission. Yours should be too. Batching tasks for efficiency. Musk protects his time not just through focus, but through task batching. Grouping similar tasks together minimizes context switching, which drains mental energy and reduces performance. Examples: emails and admin in a single batch, meetings only on certain days, reading and research during quiet hours. Use batching to clear space for your 1-hour rule. Handle shallow work in pre-planned windows so your best mental bandwidth is preserved for deep work. Start with 3 buckets. Admin, communication, logistics. Creative, writing, designing, building. Learning, reading, researching. Then isolate your 1-hour rule within the creative or learning bucket, where your deepest growth lives. Make it a ritual. The difference between a routine and a ritual is intention. Rituals elevate behavior into meaning. They turn a mechanical task into a sacred experience. Your 1-hour rule should be a ritual, a protected ceremony between you and your future self. Consider a pre-work cue, like brewing coffee, lighting a candle, or journaling. A dedicated workspace that signals focus. A short intention set at the beginning. Today, I will work on. A reflection practice at the end to record progress. These small gestures train your brain. Over time, they reduce resistance and make deep work feel inevitable. Habit tracking and identity. What gets measured gets improved. And what gets repeated becomes identity. Use a habit tracker to build consistency. Each day you honor your 1-hour rule, mark an X. Don't break the chain. More importantly, let your actions reshape how you see yourself. I'm a writer because I write each day. I'm a builder because I build each day. I'm a learner because I show up to study every day. As James Clear says, every action is a vote for the type of person you want to become. The 1-hour rule casts a powerful vote every time you follow it. Final thoughts. Choose to be extraordinary. Elon Musk didn't invent everything he's known for. He reimagined it. He questioned assumptions, designed new solutions, and showed up with discipline. What made that possible wasn't raw genius. It was the choice to focus. The choice to commit. The choice to build. You have that same choice. You don't need to change your life overnight. You don't need to wait for perfect conditions. You just need to show up, one focused hour at a time. Guard that hour. Let it become your daily appointment with greatness. Over time, it won't just change what you accomplish. It will change who you become. Because the truth is simple but profound. Ordinary people become extraordinary not through talent, but through intention. The 1-hour rule is your path. Take it. Walk it. And never stop choosing to build something greater. Chapter 3. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Elon Musk. Prioritizing the essential. When Elon Musk takes on a problem, it's never small. From revolutionizing electric vehicles to colonizing Mars, from exploring AI human interfaces to building high-speed underground transport systems, Musk's endeavors consistently defy convention and common sense. These are not safe bets. They are massive undertakings with extreme complexity, daunting technical barriers, and immense financial risk. And yet, he moves forward, not because success is guaranteed, but because the mission is essential. This mindset is at the heart of Musk's extraordinary focus. The understanding that importance should outweigh comfort, and that prioritization is not optional, it's survival. The 1 hour rule invites us to adopt the same mindset, scaled to our own lives. It forces us to grapple with a deceptively powerful daily question. What is the single most important thing I can do today that will truly matter? In an era dominated by busyness and surface-level productivity, this question slices through distraction like a laser. It helps us identify and commit to high-impact work. But to answer it well, we need frameworks. We need clarity. And we need courage. Underscore. The high cost of low-value work. Let's be honest. Most of us spend our days reacting. We check messages, attend meetings, clear our inboxes, and cross items off our to-do lists. We may feel productive, but we're often just busy doing what's urgent, not what's important. This is the great irony of modern work. We have more tools than ever before to manage our time, yet we often use them to chase low-leverage outcomes. We move quickly, but not meaningfully. Musk avoids this trap by constantly asking, "Am I working on the thing that matters most?" He doesn't fill his day with status updates or back-and-forth emails. Instead, he allocates time to solving the core constraint, the issue that, if resolved, unlocks progress across multiple domains. This is why the 1 hour rule is so powerful. It provides a daily framework for zeroing in on high-impact work. One focused hour, fully aligned with what matters most, can have more value than an entire day of scattered activity. The Eisenhower Matrix. Urgency versus importance. One of the most effective tools for sorting through the noise is the Eisenhower Matrix, developed by Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and a supreme military commander. This matrix divides tasks into 4 categories. 1. Urgent and important. Crises, deadlines, emergencies. Do these immediately. 2. Important but not urgent. Strategic planning, learning, building relationships, deep work. Schedule these. 3. Urgent but not important. Interruptions, most meetings, some emails. Delegate or minimize. 4. Neither urgent nor important. Time wasters. Eliminate. Musk operates heavily in quadrant 2. Important but not urgent. That's where breakthroughs live. It's where you write that long overdue book, launch your side project, solve a hard problem, or invest in strategic thinking. Unfortunately, most people spend their lives in quadrants 1 and 3, reactive, busy, frazzled. But the 1 hour rule pulls you back into quadrant 2. It says, carve out time for the big things, even when they don't demand your attention. Actionable tip. Each morning, write down your top 5 tasks and categorize them into the matrix. Then ask, which quadrant 2 item have I been avoiding? That's where your hour of deep focus should go. Underscore. First principles thinking. Prioritization from the ground up. Musk's ability to prioritize is rooted in his signature cognitive tool, first principles thinking. Most people reason by analogy. They look at what others are doing and tweak it. But Musk goes deeper. He breaks problems down to their fundamental truths and builds solutions from scratch. When considering which task to tackle, this thinking model helps Musk strip away assumptions and focus on what truly drives value. Here's how to apply it. A. Ask, what's the root problem I'm solving? A. Strip it down. What do I know for certain about this? A. Rebuild, what action can I take that directly impacts the root cause? For example, when Musk built Tesla, most automakers accepted that battery packs were expensive and treated it as a given. Musk asked, "What are the raw materials? What do they cost?" He found that the actual components were far cheaper than the final product, and so Tesla began investing in its own battery technology and gigafactories to bring costs down. Apply this lens to your own to-do list. Instead of asking, "What's next on my calendar?" ask, "What's the real lever that could move this project forward?" That's the essence of first principles prioritization. Underscore high leverage work and the 80/20 principle. Another cornerstone of Musk's prioritization model is the Pareto principle, or the 80/20 rule. 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. Not all tasks are equal. Some produce disproportionate returns. Musk is relentless in identifying and pursuing these high-leverage tasks. Whether it's refining a rocket's design flaw or streamlining a production process, he focuses on the activities that unlock the most value. To use this yourself, ask, what task will make the biggest difference if done today? What 20% of my effort is responsible for 80% of my progress? What one decision, if made now, would free up time, reduce complexity, or accelerate outcomes? Focus your hour on that. Musk in practice. Prioritizing at scale. Let's explore how Musk's prioritization philosophy plays out in real-world decisions across his companies. At Tesla, Musk realized that battery cost was the limiting factor for electric vehicle adoption. So instead of outsourcing, he built gigafactories, massive facilities designed not just for scale, but for cost efficiency. The strategic bet on battery innovation allowed Tesla to outperform competitors in range, cost, and scalability. At SpaceX, early on, Musk identified that the cost of launching rockets was due to disposability. By prioritizing reusability, he challenged decades of aerospace tradition. That decision, though risky, redefined the economics of space travel. At Neuralink, rather than starting with a flashy consumer product, Musk has focused on solving hard engineering problems, like safely implanting electrodes at scale. His focus is on enabling long-term, foundational breakthroughs rather than short-term wins. Time allocation. Musk has spoken publicly about batching his calendar into highly focused blocks. Mondays and Tuesdays might be for SpaceX, Wednesdays for Tesla. Within each company, time is spent on the most pressing technical problems, because that's where his unique value lies. In each case, Musk's decisions reflect a deep understanding of leverage. He doesn't ask, "What's easiest to do right now?" He asks, "What's the most impactful thing I can do with my limited attention and time?" Cutting the trivial. Saying no to say yes. You cannot prioritize without elimination. Musk is notorious for rejecting meetings that don't serve a clear purpose, questioning layers of bureaucracy, and removing himself from communication loops that dilute focus. Here's what ruthless prioritization looks like in practice. A no to meetings without a purpose or decision point. A no to tasks that don't align with the core mission. A no to perfectionism when speed or learning is more important. A no to tradition for tradition's sake. As Steve Jobs famously said, focusing is about saying no. Musk embodies this ethos daily. He clears the path for what matters by clearing away what doesn't. So how can you do the same? Start by asking, what am I doing out of habit, obligation, or inertia? What can I stop doing today that adds little value? The 1-hour rule as a prioritization discipline. Here's where it all comes together. The 1-hour rule is not just a time management tactic. It's a daily ritual of prioritization. When you dedicate 1 hour to focused work, you're forced to choose. You can't do everything. You can't react all day. You must decide, what is the most important task I can complete today? This habit, repeated daily, sharpens your judgment. You stop reacting to noise. You start leading your day from a place of intention. Over time, This becomes a filter for your entire life. Conclusion: what will you choose? Elon Musk has never been about following the crowd. He doesn't chase popularity. He doesn't optimize for comfort. He optimizes for impact. And to do that, he prioritizes with extreme clarity. He shows us that being extraordinary isn't about superhuman intelligence. It's about making bold choices, especially when the odds are against you. You don't have to launch rockets or build electric cars to apply this mindset. You just need to claim your hour. Identify your most important task. And protect that time fiercely. Because one focused hour, aligned with your deepest priorities, is worth more than a day of shallow work. So tomorrow, when your day begins, don't ask, "What should I do?" Ask, "What is essential?" Then do that, first, and with full focus. That's how futures are built. Chapter 4. I think most people can learn a lot more than they think they can. They sell themselves short without trying. Elon Musk. Learning at the speed of thought. The phrase lifelong learner is often thrown around in today's professional and academic circles, but few people embody the term with the intensity and application of Elon Musk. Musk is not only a business magnate but also a student of some of the most complex fields known to humankind: physics, engineering, artificial intelligence, neuroscience, and rocket science. Remarkably, he is self-taught in many of these domains. What sets Musk apart isn't merely intelligence. It's how he learns. He learns fast, deeply, and strategically. He applies the same rigor to acquiring knowledge that he does to building reusable rockets or scaling electric vehicles. And at the core of this accelerated learning system is something you already know: deep, focused time. This is where the 1-hour rule becomes a game changer for personal growth. By dedicating just 1 hour of focused, intentional learning every day, you can transform your mind, absorb complex concepts, and build the kind of mental models that fuel extraordinary progress. This chapter unpacks how Musk uses that hour, and how you can apply his methods to your own learning journey. The myth of talent versus the power of technique. Most people assume that Musk's learning abilities are the result of natural genius. But Musk himself has stated otherwise. He believes most people are capable of learning far more than they assume, if they apply the right methods. Here's what he once said: "I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary." This includes the ability to learn extraordinary things. At the center of his philosophy is the idea that knowledge can be broken down into first principles, core truths that allow you to build understanding from the ground up. Instead of relying on analogies or accepting conventional wisdom, Musk prefers to deconstruct concepts into their simplest components, and then rebuild them logically. This approach not only makes learning more effective, it makes it exponential. Focused learning and the 1-hour rule. The 1-hour rule is a powerful framework for learning mastery. When you carve out 1 hour a day specifically for learning, you engage in deliberate intellectual growth. This is not casual reading or passive scrolling. It's intentional study. Think of it this way: a 1 hour a day equals 7 hours a week. Over a month, that's nearly 30 hours. In a year, that's 365 hours of concentrated study. That's the equivalent of taking multiple college-level courses, on your own terms, at your own pace. Musk uses his time to study materials that others would shy away from: dense engineering manuals, white papers, scientific publications. He's not reading fluff. He's building understanding. That's a key distinction. The Feynman technique. Learning by teaching. One of the most powerful learning tools Musk uses, whether consciously or not, is the Feynman technique, developed by Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman. It's a method for mastering concepts by forcing yourself to explain them simply, as if teaching a child. The 4 steps of the Feynman technique are: 1. Choose a concept you want to understand. 2. Teach it to someone else, or pretend to. 3. Identify gaps in your explanation. 4. Go back to the source material and refine your understanding. This technique aligns perfectly with the 1-hour rule. You can dedicate your focused hour to not just consuming information, but reprocessing it in your own words. This process makes learning active, not passive. Try this. After reading a chapter of a book or watching an educational video, close the material and explain it out loud to yourself. Struggle through the explanation. Where you stumble, you've found a gap. That's where your next focused session should begin. Spaced repetition and mental longevity. One of the challenges of learning is retention. It's not enough to understand a concept once. You must revisit it repeatedly over time to store it in long-term memory. This is where spaced repetition comes in. Spaced repetition is a learning technique that involves reviewing material at increasing intervals. It's been scientifically proven to enhance memory and recall. There are many digital tools, like Anki or SuperMemo, that apply this technique automatically. Musk doesn't necessarily use these tools, but he applies the principle informally, revisiting key ideas through multiple sources and applying them in different contexts. If you use your 1-hour rule time for learning, consider breaking it down like this. A day 1, learn the new concept. A day 2, review and explain it using Feynman. A day 4, test yourself on it. A day 7, apply it to a real-world problem. A day 14, revisit it for reinforcement. This spaced approach turns fleeting knowledge into lasting wisdom. Deliberate practice. Going beyond reading. Musk doesn't just read, he applies. He tests ideas, runs mental simulations, builds prototypes, and engages in conversations with experts. This is the essence of deliberate practice. Doing work that stretches your current ability and gives feedback. Here's how to structure deliberate learning practice. Set clear learning goals, e.g., understand the fundamentals of orbital mechanics. A focus on technique, not just time spent. Get feedback from mentors, peers, or your own performance. Reflect and adjust. For example, if you're learning to code, don't just watch tutorials. Build a project and debug it. If you're studying finance, analyze real-world cases. If you're diving into AI, build simple neural networks and test their performance. Learning at the speed of thought requires doing, not just reading. Reading like Musk. Elon Musk is an insatiable reader. His learning journey began with science fiction and expanded to physics textbooks, engineering papers, and historical biographies. He's known to read multiple books in parallel, often across unrelated disciplines. Musk's reading habits suggest a few important principles. Read broadly. Connect ideas from different domains. Read deeply. Don't just skim, wrestle with complexity. Read with purpose. Don't read to pass time. Read to understand. To apply this in your own 1-hour rule. Maintain a curated list of high-value books aligned to your goals. Use a notebook or digital tool to track notes and insights. Summarize what you read weekly in your own words. Books offer compounded wisdom, hours of experience condensed into pages. But they only yield results when consumed with focus. Curiosity as a driver. Perhaps Musk's greatest learning asset is not his memory or intelligence, but his curiosity. He follows questions with relentless energy. When he doesn't understand something, he dives deeper. When he sees a flaw in current knowledge, he doesn't defer to authority, he investigates. Curiosity turns learning into play, not labor. It transforms your 1-hour rule from a chore into a quest. Ask yourself, what topic excites me? What am I deeply curious about? What do I wish I understood better? Let your focused hour be guided by those questions. The best learners aren't the ones who grind, they're the ones who wonder. Final thoughts. You can learn anything. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we can't learn something because we're not wired for it. Elon Musk proves that this is nonsense. He didn't start out knowing how to build rockets or design AI systems. He taught himself, using first principles, deliberate practice, and focused time. You can do the same. Whether you want to master a language, understand economics, build software, or grasp quantum physics, an hour a day is enough to begin. The secret isn't talent. It's time plus intention plus technique. The 1 hour rule gives you the space. The rest is up to you. So start tomorrow. Choose your subject. Open the book. Ask the hard questions. Explain what you learn. And come back the next day, 1 hour at a time. You'll be amazed at how quickly your mind begins to change. Chapter 5. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Elon Musk. The emotional engine of focus. Focus is often treated as a mechanical issue. Time blocks, productivity tools, and goal-setting strategies. And while these tools are essential, they are not enough. In the long game of meaningful work and sustained innovation, the real fuel is not in the calendar, it's in the heart. At the center of Elon Musk's seemingly superhuman work ethic lies not just discipline, but purpose. Not just process, but passion. Musk doesn't wake up and push through 18-hour days because he's optimized his calendar. He does it because he believes in the future he's trying to create. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day, he once said. This isn't just a quote, it's the beating heart of Musk's productivity philosophy. It's what keeps him focused when the odds are against him, when his companies are on the brink of collapse, and when every decision carries existential weight. This chapter explores how emotion, purpose, and optimism are the essential drivers of focused work, and how you can harness these same forces in your life through the 1 hour rule. Focus is not just a skill, it's a state of being. The modern world treats productivity like a formula. Wake up early, eliminate distractions, use a timer, and get to work. But productivity that endures, the kind that fuels innovation and reinvention, is never just mechanical. It's emotional. We don't sustain focus because a system tells us to. We sustain it because something within us says, this matters. Elon Musk is not immune to exhaustion or pressure. He's famously spoken about sleeping on factory floors, facing breakdowns, and nearly losing Tesla and SpaceX in the same week. Yet he persisted, not because of grit alone, but because he was anchored to something bigger. For Musk, focus is a byproduct of belief. Belief that humans can live on Mars. Belief that electric vehicles can save the planet. Belief that brain-machine interfaces can unlock a new era of understanding. This belief system acts as a battery. It stores emotional energy that can be drawn upon when physical reserves are empty. And that's the foundation of truly sustainable focus. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. To understand Musk's emotional engine, it's helpful to explore the two major types of motivation. Extrinsic motivation, rewards from the outside, money, status, recognition, praise. Intrinsic motivation, rewards from within, curiosity, mastery, autonomy, purpose. Extrinsic rewards can work in the short term, but they fail to sustain deep work over time. They lose their impact, become unreliable, or lead to burnout. Intrinsic motivation, by contrast, is self-renewing. When you are motivated from within, your work becomes energizing rather than depleting. Musk's motivation is intrinsically rooted. He once said, "I don't ever give up. I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated." This isn't ego, it's commitment born from belief. He is driven by problems he must solve, not ones that simply pay well or earn applause. When applying the 1 hour rule in your own life, this distinction is critical. If you dedicate your focused hour to a goal you don't care about, it will feel like a chore. If you focus that hour on something that aligns with your values or mission, it becomes a source of energy, not an expense. Finding your purpose-driven focus. You don't have to aim for Mars to find meaningful motivation. But you do need to ask deeper questions about your work and goals. What problem do I care deeply about solving? What activity makes me lose track of time? What would I still do, even if I failed at it? What impact do I want to have on others, or the world? The answers to these questions form your personal vision, the emotional GPS for your 1-hour rule. When your focus hour is aligned with this vision, it becomes sacred. Distractions lose their grip. Time slows. You enter what psychologists call flow. This kind of work is not just productive. It's transformational. The role of optimism. Optimism is often misunderstood as wishful thinking or blind positivity. But Musk's optimism is strategic. It's a belief in potential, not ignorance of difficulty. He once said, "I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right." Optimism, in this sense, is not about certainty. It's about commitment to possibility. It's what keeps you working when you can't see the full path. It's the mental posture that says, "There is a solution, I just haven't found it yet." This mindset is a powerful tool for focus. When you believe that your efforts matter, even if the results are delayed, you're more likely to stay engaged. The opposite, cynicism, kills focus. If nothing matters, why try? Musk's optimism helps him endure repeated failures. Rockets explode. Production lines break. Critics mock. And yet, he shows up, again and again. Because in his mind, the future is still worth building. You don't need to be immune to setbacks. You just need a reason to continue through them. Emotional resilience. Surviving the storms. In 2008, Elon Musk came dangerously close to losing everything. SpaceX had failed 3 consecutive launches. Tesla was bleeding cash. Personal relationships were strained. He later described it as the worst year of his life. What kept him going? It wasn't comfort or confidence. It was resilience rooted in purpose. Musk knew that if he gave up, no one else would pursue the bold missions he had started. The consequences were greater than his personal loss. That sense of obligation, to progress, to humanity, helped him endure. Emotional resilience isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about allowing purpose to anchor you through emotional turbulence. It's remembering why you started when everything feels broken. When using the 1-hour rule, there will be days when focus feels impossible. On those days, you return not to willpower, but to why power, the deeper reason behind your work. Harnessing passion without burning out. Musk is passionate, but passion alone can be dangerous. Passion without structure leads to burnout. Passion without focus becomes noise. The 1-hour rule protects passion from becoming toxic. By limiting your most intense focus to 1 hour, you pace your energy. You create a container that allows passion to thrive without overwhelming you. Think of it like a furnace. Without a boundary, fire burns wildly. But within a fireplace, it warms the entire house. If your work excites you, channel that excitement into focused, consistent effort. Passion is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing, repeatedly. Mindset practices to sustain focus. To keep your emotional engine running, build habits that reinforce a positive, purposeful mindset. 1. Morning intention setting. Start each day by answering, what one thing will make today meaningful? Write it down. Align your hour to that task. 2. Reflection and gratitude journaling. At the end of the day, write what you learned, how you grew, and one thing you're grateful for. This reinforces optimism and progress. 3. Visualize the future you want. Spend a few minutes imagining the world you want to help create. Picture the impact of your work. Let that vision guide your actions. 4. Read purpose-driven biographies. Musk reads about other pioneers, Einstein, Edison, Franklin. Their struggles remind him that meaningful progress is rarely easy or fast. 5. Avoid toxic input. Limit exposure to fear-based media and cynical voices. Negativity corrodes belief. Surround yourself with voices that fuel hope. These small practices act like tune-ups for your emotional engine. They keep your mindset aligned and your motivation charged. When the odds are against you. The most iconic part of this chapter's quote is not about the bright day. It's about the odds. Musk says, when something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. This is perhaps the clearest window into how emotion drives his focus. He doesn't act because success is guaranteed. He acts because the mission matters. This mindset is liberating. It removes the need for certainty. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. You just need a reason that matters more than your fear of failure. So ask yourself, what would I work on if I didn't need permission? What's worth fighting for, even without applause? What would I regret not pursuing? That's where your 1 hour rule should go. Conclusion: fueling the future with focus. Elon Musk doesn't have superpowers. He has something better, a reason to get up and try again, even when failure seems imminent. He brings fire to his work not because it's easy, but because it's worth doing. You can cultivate that same fire. Use the 1 hour rule not just as a tool for productivity, but as a ritual of emotional alignment. Protect that hour. Fill it with work that speaks to your vision. Let it become the bridge between who you are now and the impact you're meant to create. When focus is driven by purpose, it stops feeling like discipline. It starts to feel like destiny. And every day, when you wake up with that vision in mind, the odds matter less. The future feels brighter. And your hour becomes a gift, to yourself and to the world. Conclusion: the future is built 1 hour at a time. The world is full of noise. Scroll through your phone, glance at your inbox, walk through your day, and you'll be bombarded with endless to-dos, demands, and distractions. In this hyper-connected era, everyone wants your attention. Apps, algorithms, obligations. And in trying to keep up, we sacrifice something far more precious than time. We sacrifice depth. We trade the ability to focus for the illusion of productivity. We become busy but ineffective, overwhelmed but under-accomplished. We work hard but drift further from the goals that matter most. Amid this modern frenzy, the 1 hour rule offers a radical solution. Radical not because it's complex, but because it's uncommonly simple. Devote 1 uninterrupted hour each day to your most meaningful, high-leverage task. Shut out the noise. Close the tabs. Power down the distractions. And give your best cognitive energy to something that actually matters. That's it. 1 hour. And yet, within that 1 hour lies an exponential power to transform your work, your thinking, your purpose, and your life. Why 1 hour works. The 1 hour rule is not about fitting more into your already crowded day. It's about choosing better. It's about creating a deliberate pause in the chaos and channeling your focus into something that moves the needle, something worthy of your attention and effort. You might wonder, why just an hour? Is that really enough? Yes. And here's why. A 1 hour is sustainable. You don't need to overhaul your entire life or wake up at 4 a.m. to implement it. A 1 hour is psychologically approachable. You're not committing to a massive change. Just 1 hour. A 1 hour becomes sacred. Over time, it becomes a ritual, an anchor point that gives structure and sanity to your day. A 1 hour compounds. 1 focused hour a day is 365 hours a year. That's over 9 40-hour work weeks. Imagine what you could build in that time. What you'll discover quickly is that this 1 hour becomes a mirror. It reveals what truly matters to you, how committed you are to your goals, and how much of your day is spent reacting instead of creating. What the 1 hour rule is not. Let's clarify some common misconceptions before we move forward. It is not a shortcut. This is not a get-rich-quick strategy or a productivity gimmick. It's not about working less to get more. It's about working better with what you already have. It is not a hustle mentality. Elon Musk is often mischaracterized as a relentless workaholic, but the principle behind the 1 hour rule is not about burning yourself out. It's about identifying your highest leverage contribution and protecting time for it. It is not rigid. While consistency is important, the 1 hour rule is meant to serve you, not enslave you. You adapt it based on your goals, energy, and context. You are in control. It is not about copying Elon Musk. This book is not a Musk biography. It's about learning from his approach to focused work and distilling those strategies into something you can realistically apply in your own life. The future is not found, it's made. One of the most compelling aspects of Musk's worldview is his unshakable belief in human agency. The idea that we are not passive recipients of fate, but active builders of the future. The future is something you create, he says. This belief is liberating. It shifts the responsibility from the outside world to you. It says that your contribution, however small it may seem, matters. Each hour you dedicate to something meaningful becomes a building block of that future. Whether you're writing a book, designing a product, learning a new skill, starting a business, solving a problem, or simply getting better at your craft, those hours don't disappear. They accumulate. They shape your trajectory. And the beauty of the 1 hour rule is that it reminds you of this truth every single day. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You start building, 1 hour at a time. From theory to practice, making it real. Let's bring this down to the ground level. How do you actually live the 1 hour rule? Here's a practical roadmap. 1. Choose your hour. Pick a consistent time when your energy is highest. For many, this is first thing in the morning before the world begins to pull at you. For others, it might be late at night. What matters is consistency. Treat it like a meeting with your future self. Non-negotiable. Sacred. 2. Pick the right task. Not every task deserves your hour. This time is reserved for deep, high-leverage work. Something that creates impact, moves your goals forward, or builds a long-term asset. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I could do today that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? What is difficult but important? What task will give me disproportionate returns if I focus on it now? 3. Eliminate distractions. This hour must be protected. That means a phone off or in another room. Browser tabs closed unless you need them for the task. Email and notifications silenced. Tell others not to interrupt you. The goal is not just uninterrupted time, but uninterrupted attention. 4. Enter with intention. Before starting, write down what you aim to accomplish. A clear outcome will keep your mind anchored and reduce drift. Examples. Write 500 words on Chapter 3. Sketch 3 logo variations. Read and summarize 2 journal articles. Design the pitch deck outline. Specificity makes focus easier. 5. Exit with reflection. At the end of the hour, take 2 to 3 minutes to jot down what you accomplished, what you learned, what your next step is. This creates a feedback loop and turns your hour into a momentum machine. Stacking hours, shaping identity. The greatest transformation isn't just what you produce in this hour, it's who you become because of it. When you show up daily for your most meaningful work, you begin to shift your identity. You go from, I want to be a writer, to, I am someone who writes every day. I hope to launch a business, to, I am building something. I wish I had more time to learn, to, I invest in my growth consistently. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, notes that identity change is the most lasting form of behavioral change. The 1 hour rule supports this by giving you daily evidence of your evolving self. Each hour becomes a vote for the person you're becoming. Why most people don't do this? If the 1 hour rule is so simple and powerful, why doesn't everyone do it? 3 reasons. 1. We fear the blank page. Deep work can feel intimidating. When you sit down to focus, you confront the hard stuff, your doubts, your limitations, your procrastination habits. Shallow tasks are easier, but growth requires discomfort. 2. We overcommit. Most people don't stick with productivity systems because they try to change too much, too fast. The 1 hour rule is different. It's not overwhelming. It doesn't ask for your whole day, just your best hour. 3. We underestimate small actions. We think real progress needs dramatic change. But the 1 hour rule teaches you that big change comes from small, consistent inputs. 1 hour is enough to change your life, if you repeat it. You don't need to be Elon Musk. Let's end with one final reminder. You don't have to be Elon Musk. You don't need his intellect, his companies, or his stamina. You just need clarity about what matters to you, a commitment to show up consistently, a courage to focus in a world that rewards distraction. If you have those 3 things, and 1 hour a day, you can build something extraordinary. What will you build? This book has given you tools, frameworks, stories, mindsets. But ultimately, it all comes down to a question only you can answer. What will you do with your hour? Will you write the book that's been on your heart for years? Will you finally start the business you've dreamed of? Will you learn the language, study the subject, or build the product that could change everything? Will you become the kind of person who doesn't just talk about goals, but actually builds them, one focused hour at a time? The clock is ticking. Not in a stressful way, but in an empowering one. You have time. You have tools. And now, you have a choice. Start today. 1 hour. That's all it takes. Because the future is not something you stumble into. The future is something you build, one focused hour at a time. Thank you for listening to 1 Hour Rule, mastering focus the Elon Musk way until the very end. We hope you found the insights and guidance helpful as you navigate your own journey. If you enjoyed this book and found it relatable, please consider sharing it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content that speaks to your experiences and aspirations. Your support means a lot to us. Until next time, keep exploring and pursuing your passions.